Your initial offer for a real estate wholesaling deal doesn't matter at all. In today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why your initial offer absolutely holds no weight or should matter at all in your real estate wholesaling deals. And if you're sending offers to your sellers and you're putting care and really doing a lot of due diligence in it, like spending lots of time trying to formulate offers and really caring about the first initial offer, you need to watch this video. It absolutely doesn't matter. And I'm going to show you why. And I'm also going to use some tips on how to get the best prices and offers possible, because I'm telling you. Now, I have to make this video again because I get so many messages like crazy, like, Zach, the most I've ever made on a wholesaling deal is $10,000 to $15,000. How are you consistently doing $40,000 to $50,000 wholesaling real estate deals? And the answer is always, I'm going to say it all the time, is rapport. I build so much rapport with my sellers that I get the best prices possible. But another part of the secret sauce, the ingredient for my $50,000 deals, is because I know exactly the right offer. And sometimes the best offer is not what you think. So let's get into it. Let me share with you why your initial offer doesn't matter and actually how to get the best prices for your real estate wholesaling deals. Whoa. Before we get into it, I'm probably going to get you an extra $10,000 spreads on hopefully one deal this year. So if you can do me a favor, please smash that like button and subscribe. Get more content from me. Here at Flip with Rick, we are trying to help you get your first $100,000 in real estate wholesaling in profit absolutely for free, no paying for it at all. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so I know half of you guys are actually watching this video with your arms crossed like this, giving me a disappointed face like, I can't believe this kid. Your initial offer doesn't matter? What are you talking about? Before every appointment, I sit down with 5 computers. I got 10 screens everywhere. I got the Fibonacci sequence going, and I'm calculating the greatest offer possible. This is going to be my initial offer. It's going to be absolute perfect. The seller's going to take it, and I'm going to make $5 million. Your initial offer doesn't matter. And the way that you're also presenting your offer will definitely screw up if you get the deal or not. Now, having the right price is very important, but the way you deliver your offer is absolutely even more important. Because if I go tell you, if I have an initial seller and the thing is worth $150,000 and I go present you and say this, would you take $135,000 for the house? Versus if I say, John, I looked at everything and, I can't believe, I really wish this property was worth a lot more, but because of the siding issue and really the roof needs a little more repairs, I don't know what I can do here. I mean, in a perfect world, if you were able to move to Louisiana here, if I was able to buy this property next month for $100,000, what would you say to that? Literally, the presentation is just like cooking. It's just like a very fancy 5-star, 6-star, I don't know how many stars restaurants go to, but let's say 5-star. It's like going to a 5-star restaurant. It's all about the presentation of the offer, the food. So you could probably have decent food, but if the presentation's out of this world, it's probably going to be really amazing. So remember, your offers is like a restaurant, more or less. You really need to present it very well, and you need to put more time in the presentation and the build-up to that offer than to see if the offer is quality, because in my personal opinion, you don't want your offers to be extremely high and the spreads low. That would be a high quality offer for the seller versus our offer, which is probably going to be less quality for the seller, which means if I had to give you a hot dog, which isn't the most high quality food possible, it's no T-bone steak, I'm going to present it in such a way to make it seem great. I'll call it like a pork sauvignon or something French in there and make it look really cool. I'll put some drizzles of ketchup and make it look really pretty and cool, and it'll justify selling it for $100. But the presentation of this offer is absolutely so important. Now, the best offer is no offer. So what do I mean by that? Now, obviously, you don't want to ever say the price first in your real estate wholesaling negotiations. So if you don't give the offer first and the motivated seller gives the offer first, you'll get probably one of their bottom line numbers, which you can go down from there and get the best spreads possible. And whoever gives the offer first usually has the least advantage. But if you're ever in a situation where you initially have to give an offer, what are you going to do? And really, in my personal opinion, again, you need to build that massive rapport out there that will give you the best chance of getting a deal accepted. I feel like the more rapport you build, it just it just adds an extra percentage or two on getting a deal accepted. And you can really walk in a deal that the average wholesaler will get a 40% chance of getting it done. And if you can build that rapport, you can turn that 40% into 75%. And it's just a numbers game from there. Let's say the property for this example is worth $150,000. That is what a cash buyer is willing to buy it for. Obviously, we want to get this thing locked up for the least amount possible and make the biggest spreads possible. So I really want to be in that $100,000 range so I can make $50,000, right? Not every deal is $50,000, but the really good spread ones could be that. So if I have this conversation with the seller and I basically ask, hey, how much, or I give a presentation like, how much do you want to sell this property for? And I let them say it and they say, I have no idea. And you're like, you have no idea what the property's worth? No. And you give an offer, let's say at $135,000, and they say yes, and then you make $15K. But what if we could change the way we offer so there's no offer? What I mean by this, I say, hey, Sally, how much do you want to sell the property for? And they tell me, Zach, I have no idea what this thing's worth. Okay. Well, Sally, would it be okay if I bought this property from you for $1? No, absolutely no. Never buy. I'd never let you sell this. Okay. Well, would it be okay with me selling this property for $2? No, never. Well, you obviously thinking about this, you have a price in your head. I mean, what price? And they'll say, $110,000. That's what I absolutely need. And then you get that price out of them. You just beat that $135,000 price he did, and you can negotiate there from $100 and get that $50,000 deal. This is why your initial offer doesn't matter, because you don't want to have an offer out there, but sometimes you're in a precarious situation. There's someone that says, you know what, Zach, I'm not going to say anything. You need to give me the offer first. You came into my house. And not for $1. No. You need to give me a real offer. It's like, okay. Now, if I have to give this initial offer, I'm between a rock and a hard place here. I have to remember one thing. I need to go for no. What does this mean? If I have to give an initial offer out there, I want my offer to be low enough where I know it's below their threshold they're looking to sell it for, or even able to accept it so I still get the best spread possible. You never want to leave much meat on the bone with these deals, but you don't want to be low enough where they kick you out of the house. That's never good. So if I offer someone $20,000 for their $150,000 property, I'm probably going to get kicked out of the house. But if I offer them 90, 85, 90, I'm pretty good at that. So remember that with your offers. I mean, the initial one doesn't matter. If you have to do one, make sure it's pretty low, but always justify that and always justify it and explain to them why you're at that price. Deliver it very well. Now, some more people are going to calculate the MAO and think that's the most important thing ever. Really, this is an interesting quote from Rick, but it's 100% truthful. If you got to do a lot of calculations and you have to spend more than 10 minutes figuring out what your initial offer is going to be or your max offer, that property is not a good deal. If you're trying to justify the numbers why you're going to spend more money on this property or give more of an offer, you're going to screw yourself out of the deal. You want to be at the point where you're okay with taking a marginal deal if it's a marginal deal, or a good deal if it's a good deal. Now, if I had a $5,000 deal and the contracts there were ready to sign and I'm going to make $5K on it, you bet your butt that I'm signing that deal, I'm getting that thing done, and I'm making some money on that. I am making that $5,000. No, I am not. I don't have this huge ego. It's like, I'm too good for a $5,000 wholesaling deal. It's $5,000. Are you absolutely kidding me? For $5,000, I mean, that's still a lot of money. So if you look at the MAO and the calculations, it's like the most I can offer there, I need to make a $15,000 at minimum for my assignments. You're going to lose out on so many $5,000 deals. We do so many $5,000 to $10,000 deals that honestly, they're not my favorite to do, but those $5,000 deals really puts us into the six figures on those tiny deals. I mean, I'm making six figures alone on tiny $5,000 to $10,000 deals that a guy with a big ego would never do it because they're just too good for it. Well, are you too good for hundreds of thousands of dollars of extra profit? No. So if it's at a discount at all, I recommend you just get the thing locked up. But overall, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to repeat this. The rapport is one of the most important things about the offer, and it has nothing to do with the price. It has nothing to do with the delivery. It's all about that rapport. I mean, remember, with the rapport, you want to talk to them. You want to connect with this person. Think, if you're stuck with the rapport, FORD, Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Talk about their family. Talk about their occupations, what do they do for a living. Talk about their family. How's their brother? How's their sister? How's their kids? Occupation, what do they do for a living? Recreation, do they like fishing? Do they like the sports? D, dreams. What are they trying to get in the future? What are they trying to do? That will help you so much with your motivated sellers, building that rapport so you get the best deals possible. I cannot stress this enough. Your rapport is one of the most important parts. It's one of the building blocks to the perfect offer. And again, your initial offer will not matter. And that's it, guys. I mean, obviously, you're going to have objections. You're going to get through some of these in these deals, but really, your initial offer doesn't matter at all for your real estate wholesaling business. And hopefully, you got something out of this video. I mean, if there's one key takeaway you can get out of it is the best offer is no offer. I could say that a million times. I absolutely, truly believe that. And if you build the right rapport, you will get these monster $40,000, $50,000 assignments. They're real. They're out there. We post them all the time. It's not a little unicorn. Remember, in your markets, sometimes a $50,000 deal is not out there. It is possible, but there's a lot less of them. But there's tons of $15,000 deals. But if you really want to get in those bigger spreads, this is what I 100% recommend. So if you got any value out of this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. I appreciate the support you guys have been sharing. You've been giving and sharing. I truly appreciate it. I'm humbled every day of the support you guys give me. Thank you guys so much and have a blessed day.